Hey, welcome to the Grab the Map podcast, where we don't just look at it, we grab the map. I am John Crutchfield, and I'm so excited today. I need to look at the right screen because if you're on YouTube, you can find us on YouTube, and you can also find us anywhere you're listening to podcasts. Javier, how are you doing today, man? Can you hear us?
Man, John, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you
The
for having me on.
Javier, man. Hey, it's kind of cool when you try to connect to someone and he's like, well, I'll do a podcast with you. And that works out great. So happy to have you here. Happy to have you on the podcast. Hey, don't forget, you can reach out to me by emailing. I answer every single email that goes to grabthemap@gmail.com. Javier, how can folks get in touch with you?
Hey, so I have Instagram. It's my name, Javier, and then it's Hinojo.Jr. Mm-hmm. And Facebook too. You can just search me, Javier Hinojo Jr. There's not many of us out there. I got a YouTube channel, Javier Hinojo Jr. as well. Actually, I think I even have a website. It's not up yet, but it's Javier Hinojo website. So it'll be .com. It'll be up there, and it'll have all my links on there. I think I'm even on TikTok, but my daughter says, "Dad, you're not any good at it."
Hey, you're gonna be good at it. You gotta get her to make one for you.
Yeah, for sure. She keeps telling me, "Dad, this is what you do there. Yeah, this is what you do. You don't do that." No.
Man, I see you all over social media. I'm a Facebooker myself, and I see you doing some great things. Man, such a networker, such an authentic person. We were talking about that before we started the recording here. So I really just want folks to listen to this podcast to be able to hear your story and to be able to get some motivation in their grind, because that's what I see you doing is grinding. So maybe we get started off that way. Right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing these days in real estate?
Yeah, for sure. So I started real estate about 6.5 years ago. I used to flip houses. At some point I was flipping about 50 houses a year. And about 2 years ago, September 2019, I was at a mastermind and I wanted to scale, right? Do 200 flips, 150 flips a year, and hanging out with some pretty cool investors from all over the country. They were pretty much kicking ass. They were doing great. And then it hit me. I'm like, man, the staff that I got, it's not going to get me where I need to go. And I need to change, right? I need to get different people in my staff. And I said, if I got to do that all over again, I might as well just pivot and buy apartment buildings, right? I mean, that was pretty much it. That was my thought process. And right away, I just pretty much quit the next week, went back, told everybody, hey, I'm not buying houses anymore. We're going to finish what we have. And then I just focused on multifamily. It's been about 22 months or so, almost 2 years. So fast forward, then, actually we started bought our first one actually 3 months afterwards. And when I decided to quit in September, by December, we bought our first multifamily. And then the next year, 2020 hit COVID. So the first quarter and a half was pretty dead.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it was just like a couple of loans got pulled and, so we couldn't close any deals, but really in the last 12 months, 14 months, we closed a majority of our projects, right? So now we have 690 doors.
Hold on. So did you just say 690 doors in 2 years?
Yep. Yeah, in 2 years, in about 22 months, 690 doors.
That's a lot of progress in a short period of time. So you've got 690 doors that you're holding. These are apartments. What are these? Commercial projects? What do you got?
Yeah, it's 116 mobile home pads, and the rest are apartments.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about before you made this transition, right? Like you were flipping houses. You said maybe about 50 a year. You were thinking about scaling above that. How do you get to that place, like where you just start flipping 50 houses a year? Did you start out one at a time, or were you always like an all-in type of person?
Yeah, I'm always been all-in kind of person, right? I flipped my first house and I'm like, okay, this is nice, but I need to do a lot of these if I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you right away start hanging out with different people, right? You hang out with somebody who's flipping 20 houses a year, and then you get a chance to meet them. You're like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And then you find somebody who's flipping 50 houses a year, and you hang around people like that. And that's how you kind of start scaling up, right? Because you hear their conversations. You're like, just a couple of different things maybe that you have doubts on, and you ask them, and they're like, oh yeah, this and that. Like it's like nothing. You're like, oh man, it was that easy. That was a quick answer. Yeah, I've definitely got a network, right? And hang out with the right people.
That's something that I see you doing a lot. I mean, for somebody that's just getting started, like maybe I was actually talking to an investor earlier. He said he went to his first RIA meeting and he saw like the We Buy Houses sign on all their trucks and their fancy cars. And he just like turned around because he was intimidated by like being around these key players when he was just getting going. Like, how do you like start that? Or are you an extrovert like by nature? Or how do you start networking with other investors?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have your avatar, right? Um, if you want to flip houses, go hang out with people who flip houses. If you want to develop, go hang out with people that develop, right? If you want to buy apartment buildings, go hang out with people that buy apartment buildings. You can be, very outgoing or not outgoing, right? It doesn't really matter. You still got to network, you got to go out and got to put yourself out and connect with people and see what kind of value you can bring to somebody. And if you're at an apartment networking event, like there's people looking for deals, you got, you got a lot of people looking to JV. You got some some KPs, like somebody can come in and sign your loan, things like that. Then you have your LPs, right? Your limited partners. They can they want to just invest passively. They don't want anything to do with operations. They just want to give you money,
Yeah.
right? So that's the type of people that go to these meetings. So go and connect with them, right? Connect with them and follow up with them and build that relationship because it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. So you mentioned like these networking events, these maybe conferences several times. Sounds like you're a big believer in those. I see flyers come in my email box all day long about different events. How do you decide which networking events fit? How do you decide which ones you should attend?
If they don't, if I'm not busy, I go. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Hey, that's good. So you look at your calendar and you're like,
Yep.
can I fit this one in?
Yeah, I can fit this one in here. I'm going. And I am married. I still got kids at home, so I had a busy summer. And I showed my wife. I said, "Honey, this is my trips for the summer." And then she tells me, "Do you still plan on staying married?" And I turned around, like smiling, like I thought she was joking. I look at her face; she was serious. I'm like, oh shoot, I think she's serious. So then I deleted a couple of those events. Like, okay, I'll delete that one. I'll delete that one.
Yeah,
And
she's gonna balance you out.
yeah, like I've been home about 2 weeks, so I'll be home for another week or so. And that's the longest I think I've been home all year. Usually traveling, looking at a property or doing some kind of event. It just, people talk about, hey, you got to grind, you got to work hard. And I heard people talking about like, hey, I work from 9 to 5. I shut my phone off at 5.
Yeah.
Well, when you were trying to build something, if you started from nothing, if you had no money, say you had bad credit, say you didn't know anything about the business, man, I guarantee you didn't work from 9 to 5 and be like, I'm done. I ain't doing nothing anymore. I still haven't met that person. Everybody was working, burning the candle, right? I mean, everybody's working till 2, 3 in the morning, getting up and going to the 9 to 5 and then working in, real estate on the side. I mean, everybody's got to do it. I still haven't met the person that had a job and gave 1 hour to real estate, a week, and that was it and made it. I haven't met them yet.
No, usually they've got a job and they're starting to be horrible employees because they're spending all their time doing the real estate investing, or they go ahead and quit the job and they're all in.
Yep.
It's funny though, because when you find something that you're really passionate about, it can be Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. and you're texting somebody, making an offer on a property, and it doesn't feel like work. So you're grinding,
sure, yeah.
but it doesn't feel like work. And it sounds like to you, hey, that's the best answer I've ever heard. Like if it's my calendar's open, I go.
Yeah. It's open. I go, man. I'm like, I need a network, but I'm still building. And, once I get to where I want to get, where I feel comfortable, I'm like, okay, great. Then I'll start doing a little more of the 9 to 5 where people turn off their phone at 5 o'clock. Right. I'm just not there yet.
Let's just see what you say to that. Right. Like what's the answer really? Like what is the end goal? Where will you feel comfortable?
My wife says I'll never quit. So I wanted to chill this summer. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to just take some time and just enjoy what I've done so far. And, we ended up buying like 3 properties in like a 6-week period. Yeah. I'm like, okay. I mean, I had a couple of good deals, that came across our desk and I couldn't say no to them,
Yeah. So I'm just starting off, right? I'm just getting started in my real estate investing journey. I see you, networking. I hear you saying like, let me get out here and let me work, let me build something. But as a new person, like I'm trying to get started, like, do you suggest that I get started with single family house? Do you suggest I get started with multifamily? Where's your suggestion there and why?
Everybody has a personality, right? and everybody has an investor personality. I give people all the time to tell me, hey, I'm doing a single family and I'm going to pivot to multifamily in 2 years. And my question is like, why 2 years? Right. And, I need to get this in why do you need to get this and this, that done? Like, why? If you want to do multifamily, why wait 2 years? I mean, why are you wasting the opportunity to start today? Right. So it really depends on what you believe you can do. Right. If you believe that I can only buy a house that's worth 100K and go flip it, okay, then that's what you're going to do. If you believe you can go buy a building that's, $20 million and go flip it or go buy it, then I guess that's what you're going to do. So to answer your question, what do you believe you want to do? Right. That's where you want to go.
Yeah. And it starts with what you believe. So,
Yep.
You encounter the answer. I'm sure that I encounter all the time. I'm talking to people and the answer is always like, I don't have enough money. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Money. That's the answer. I'm trying to build up money, or I don't have experience. So I'm trying to build up experience. And you say, well, go raise the money. And then they say, well, I don't know anybody I can raise the money from. Right.
Yep.
What's the answer? Like, what do you say when the person says,
the more I think about it, I hear these old, I don't want to say old timers, but just very experienced investors, right? Like coaches or people who've done a lot in real estate, and they get up there and talk for an hour. Mm-hmm. People sit there, and I stopped doing this. They want like the X's and O's. Like, what's the detail, man? When they get up there, all the X's and O's you talk about, like you're thinking about how do you do this, how do you do that? They don't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. They don't even mention. They don't even mention like how do you raise money, how do you get a deal, how do you get started. They don't even mention that, right? Because they're way beyond that. That's like super easy. And at the very beginning, as a beginner, you're like, what's a HUD? I mean, what's the insurance? What do I sign at closing? I mean, what do I do? Like, you don't know anything, right? But as simple as it sounds, this answer I'm going to give you, right? People talk about, I need to get experience. I need to find the money. Where do I get the loan? Where do I get the property? Whatever it is you want to do, single family, multifamily, whatever it is, who are you hanging out with, right? I mean, are you spending your weekends at your cousin's house, your loser friend's house every weekend? I mean, I'm just being honest. Yeah. I mean, what are you doing? Right. I mean, love your family for sure. I mean, we got family, they come over almost all the time, but are they going to help you get where you need to go? Right. And you do have to be a little bit selfish, right? Don't be an asshole and ignore your family, but sometimes you got to spend less time with them. Right. And then you got to cut all the people that are not any good in your life. You got to cut them off right away. And then you got to hang out with people that are going to get you where you need to go. Right. So right away, who are you hanging out with? People say, hey, I can't raise money. All right. Well, where are you hanging out? I mean, what are you doing? Right. I saw a quote out there. I forgot who said it, but it said, if you can't get in the room, serve water. Right.
Get in there.
Just get in there, man. Like whatever you got to do to get in there, just get in there. Get in that room, just start networking, rubbing elbows, and you say, hey, make sure you have your confidence. You got to be confident as well. If you lack a little bit of confidence, man, go get some free YouTube channel. There's all kinds of stuff to help you build your confidence, but that's what I would say. Like, hey, how do I get my first deal? How do I get money? Well, before I even do that, where are you hanging out? Right. And that'll answer your question every time.
Yep. Get in the right room.
Yep.
Every time I do it, it stretches me. I'm an introvert by nature. So this is all very uncomfortable. You're having conversations with strangers. You don't know who it is. Every time I do it, it always pushes me to another level. Every time I get in the room with people who think bigger, I start thinking bigger, and expanding your mindset is really, really a big part of this.
Yeah, for sure. Right. You see people doing it, self-belief and getting rid of your own limited beliefs as well. Yep.
Yeah. So 690 doors in 2 years. I mean, you've got to be moving at the speed of light here. Can you just talk us through like your decision-making process when you're looking at deals nowadays?
So just like I used to look at all my other deals, well, actually, when I got a little better at looking at analyzing deals, you just get your check boxes, right? You maybe you have 5 check boxes and you say, hey, if there's 4 out of the 5, I'm buying it. Right. Or if it's these 3 out of these 5, I'll buy it. Right. Or of course, if it's 5 out of 5, I'll buy it. Or whatever your check boxes are. And that's pretty much it. You get a property, you look at it. Does it go to your check box? What's the stabilized value? What's the purchase price? What's the area? Whatever it is you're looking at, is it cash flowing or not? What your loan terms look like, And if it hits all your check boxes, you buy it. I mean, it's that simple. There's no emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, and then people start calling you crazy, right? Like he's buying up everything. He buys everything, but you're actually buying according to your criteria and you're a quick decision maker.
Oh yeah, we say like no to 100 properties before we say yes to one, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. I know that's what you're doing. So can you just walk us through one of your favorite projects that you've done lately?
Favorite project, I would say we bought a 123 unit building in Louisiana, like 45 an hour southwest of Louisiana, in a town called Houma,
Okay.
Louisiana, and we ended up buying it for $4 million. And I mean, right away, all we did was in some of the units, they were averaging like, I want to say like $600, $650 in rents, maybe 600, lower 600. And all we did was maybe just paint, a couple of light fixtures, and we started leasing them out like $300 more. Right. So, we had like a $1.4 million budget. I think we're going to be under that by a good amount. And just, just nice property, well kept, good part of town. We just got it for distressed, right? The owner had it 50% occupied, but they have really good tenants. They've been paying at 100% collections every month, even though it's only 50% occupied. But that's going to be like a very, very easy turn. If we're going to fill it up, and it'll be worth about $9 million. I want to say in the next year, it'll be worth $9 million, and we'll be all in for around 5.5.
Good. So, I mean, that's awesome. You made it simple to turn, not a big, huge, heavy rehab, able to increase the rents quite a bit. What's your exit strategy on that one?
Well, if everything goes as planned and we hit all our rents, which it looks like we are right now, we're definitely just even in the classic turns, we're getting a lot more. We're getting what we want. And in the rehab ones, we're gonna push the limit on that one. The exit strategy is to refinance out.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what's 75% of $9 million. I don't know. Let me do it real quick.
It's good.
Right. I'll do it right now.
It's more than $5 million.
Times 75%. It's $6.7 million. Right. So if we're all in for 5.5, the bank is going to give us 6.7 in about a year. That means we have $1 million of refinance proceeds. Right.
Refinance.
Yeah. And we still keep the property.
Keep the property, holding the property. The property is cash flowing. Your investors are all paid back, and you've got some distributions to go out as well to your partners. So that's amazing. And what other business can you do that, right? Not to mention that there's some tax incentives as well. So
for sure. Well, the refinance proceeds of $1 million is not taxable because it's a loan. And at the same time, you get a lot of tax deductions for owning a commercial property or, a big property like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I've got a couple more questions as we go through. This is so cool. I'm kind of starstruck here, but can you really talk to us? I mean, you brought up your wife, right? You brought up your family. Can you talk to us about how does she fit within this world? How do you manage communication with her? How does she fit within this big scaling business you're growing here?
Let me twist it on you a little bit.
All right.
So when I go ask somebody, they're married, right? They're going out, whatever. You never ask the man, "Hey, how's it going?" The guy's like, "Hey, it's going great." I always look at the woman and I see her face, like she's like, "What?" So you probably want to ask my wife.
Yeah.
But she's not really too involved in the multifamily. She was really involved in the single family. She was my broker. She was my real estate agent and kind of my project manager. She did a lot better flipping houses than I ever did. Just because she's a better negotiator and she's just super picky on like quality of work. So she was really good at doing that. But she took a few years from home and to help me out in my flipping business. And after that, she's like, she likes staying home, right? She likes staying home with the kids. And I'm perfectly fine with that. So she doesn't really help much on the multifamily side. We'll go to some events together. She'll, if I can bring her along, she'll come with me. She enjoys that. But that's just, that's as much as they have kind of input in the business. I try to share as much as I can, with my family. But she doesn't have a lot of involvement. But if I can take her to an event, I take her to an event for sure. But I still got small kids in the house, so it's a little bit challenging.
Yeah, I've got a 7 and a 9-year-old myself, and it's always a balance trying to figure out, okay, which ones can I take them to, and which ones do I need to actually just break free from so I can
Yep.
jump all in. And it seems like as long as they know that they're the most important, then it seems like they don't really care if they're with you, or they just want to be, they just want to know that they're important. So I remember I was watching one of your videos on social media. You post a lot of content out there. It's getting better and better. And I remember you talking about how, like, you've had to strike that balance, or you've had to try to figure out where they fit, right?
Yep.
And I see that happening in your business as you're growing and as you're scaling. Talk to us a little bit about how real estate has benefited your life. What does your life look like because you're doing real estate?
Probably the biggest thing for me is just the kind of people I get to network with, right? I'm getting a chance to, chat with you. You do a lot of stuff on your own. You haven't taken on any partners, which is awesome, right? You own, all your properties.
Yeah.
So, you get a network with like-minded people, right? You get to connect with some pretty amazing folks out there, right? Doing crazy things in real estate and in business that I don't think I'd be able to connect if I just had a 9 to 5 and, just had an ordinary career, put it that way. Right. So that's probably been the biggest thing for me, just the connections, the networking, the friends that you make. It's really nice when you connect with somebody, you become friends, and then you make a couple of $1 million together. It's actually a lot better.
And I
So it's
just,
super cool.
you talk about that, but I remember like 5 years ago, and you're talking about 2 years ago. I'm talking about 5 years ago. Me and a buddy like sitting in front of a courthouse because we thought like buying properties was going to be cool, and there was this great property, probably worth a couple $100,000, that we were going to be able to get for 20 grand, right? And we're sitting there at the courthouse, like scraping accounts, trying to figure out how we're going to come up with 20 grand. And we couldn't figure it out. I mean, we figured it out. We figured it out. And by the time we figured it out, somebody else had bought the property. And we laugh about that now, because now that's the kind of money that we wouldn't even think about. Like, that's the kind of money that we would be able to solve that problem in seconds now.
For sure.
So it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but I think you're right. I think it's the associations that we've made since then,
Right.
people that we know, and you're one of those, man. You're doing huge things, and you're staying humble about it. You're willing to share your knowledge, and I love that. What makes you want to share your knowledge, even though you've got these much bigger goals? What makes you still keep reaching back to help others?
I mean, I've always been that way. I like to help folks, as much as I can. I try to, but at the same time, I got to realize that my time is limited. So if I do it, I try to do it like in a group setting where I can connect with as many people at one time.
Yeah.
Not so much like one-on-one. But I mean, I definitely like it, right? It's, I tell everybody it's nice to be going on a nice exotic vacation. But it sucks to go by yourself. It's nice if you take along, some friends and some of their family, all together, you build some relationships. And at some point, your kids will do deals with my kids without us being involved. I think that's the ultimate. Like,
that's the ultimate goal.
my kids doing deals with your kids, and we're not even like pops. They're not even involved, right? They're just like, holy crap, damn, that'd be pretty awesome.
Hey, like, pops, look at what we did.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, you didn't ask me for anything. You didn't.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. That's gonna be awesome. So, man, I've had a ball here. This is awesome to be able to talk to you in this way, to be able to glean from you. Feel like I'm going to be motivated. I know that there's going to be some listeners that are super motivated as well. If there was one thing you might want to leave with somebody that's new, they're just getting started, they've made it to the end of the podcast here, so they've been leaning into everything you've been saying, what would be that one thing you might want to leave with them?
I'm actually going to say two things.
Good.
So the number one thing is the first step. I would say the first step is to believe, right? You got to believe you can do it. If you don't believe you can do it, you just, unless you fall into it and you're lucky, and you'll do it. And number two, I mentioned it a few times, who you hanging out with, right? Hang out with the right people, hang out with the right crowd, and that's, man, if you can do those two things, you're already off and running.
Awesome. So we need to have that belief in ourselves. And then we also need to make sure we're hanging around the right people. You're one of those right people. where's somewhere somebody might be able to catch you soon? I've seen you, you're doing all kind of stuff. Where's somewhere somebody might be able to catch you soon in order to make sure that they're networking with the right people?
Yeah, well, so I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. The first Tuesday of the month, I have a meetup, a real estate meetup here in Raleigh, and I'm going to be in Cancun in September. There's an event out there from the 11th to the 18th. It's called TAB, TAB. Just find me on social media, and you'll see the link. They
Family friendly, by the way, family friendly.
Yeah, family friendly. You can hang out. It's like a whole week, all inclusive. You got some really good speakers out there, like crazy good speakers. From like 9 to 1 is the speakers, and after that, you go hang out at the pool, connect with 300, 500 investors. It's pretty cool. All inclusive place. I'm also having I'll have a 1 day off market event, and I'm having one in August. I'm not sure which day yet. So if you guys follow me on social media, I'll have an event at some point next month, and I just talk about how I find my off market apartment buildings. I mean, I spend the whole day. I show exactly what I do. My wife gets mad because I don't charge enough for it, but there goes, eventually get to hang out with somebody at an exotic vacation because they learn how to find some good properties. One of the reasons I do it, and hopefully we get a partner in a few too, right?
Yeah, man. Look, we're gonna make money together, and definitely get to connect together. I really appreciate you jumping on the Grab the Map podcast. I know that you're all over social media. I know that folks can find you. They can Google you. You've mentioned your contact information in the beginning of this podcast. Do you mind just saying it again, just for the end of the podcast?
Yeah. Instagram is Javier Hinojo. Last name is Hinojo, and then a dot junior. That's Instagram. Facebook, just my name, Javier Hinojo. I'm a junior. So same thing with YouTube. You can just search my name, Javier Hinojo. I have my YouTube channel. I also have a podcast called the Naked Truth About Real Estate Investing.
There you go.
My Facebook group. I forgot to say my Facebook group. $1 billion multifamily and commercial real estate. You can find me there as well. Just Google my name, and you'll find me, Javier Hinojo. So I look forward to connecting with you guys for sure.
We'll definitely be connecting. Hey, if you've enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like it on YouTube or like it wherever you're listening to the podcast. Don't just look at it, guys. Grab the map.